Level 1. The Cut Boy. You arrive before dawn, not as a servant, not even as a man. You are a problem delivered in a cart. The courtyard stones are cold enough to bite through straw sandals. The air smells like wet ash and boiled cabbage. Somewhere behind a wall, a bell rings. No one looks at your face. They look at your body. They count what is missing. They record what you are now allowed to be. Your wound is wrapped tight. The cloth is already sour. You learn the first lesson fast. Pain is not your enemy. Attention is. If you moan, you become entertainment. If you faint, you become luggage. So you swallow your breath. You watch your own hands shake as you scrub chamber pots. Urine burns your nose. Blood stings the back of your throat. The older eunuchs laugh without sound, like doors opening slowly. At night you sleep with boys who do not speak anymore. You listen to rats gnawing at rice sacks. You understand that the palace does not need your loyalty. It needs your silence. Level 2. The Bucket Runner. They give you a wooden token and a new duty. You carry waste. You carry water. You carry messages that are not meant for you. Your steps must be quiet. Your eyes must be down. The corridors feel endless, but they are not empty. Every shadow belongs to someone higher than you. The smell never leaves you. It clings to your hair and your sleeves. Even after you wash, your skin keeps the memory. In the kitchen yards, steam rises from cauldrons. In the laundry courts, sheets snap like flags. You move between them like a ghost that has not learned to haunt. You learn the language of rank. A glance from above means move. A cough means stop. A hand behind a back means you did not see anything. You start noticing how fear has a sound. It is the soft scrape of a sandal changing direction. At night, you count the bruises on your arms. You tell yourself they are proof you are still here. The palace does not answer. Level 3. The Gatekeeper. Now you stand where the world narrows. A gate, a door, a threshold that decides who breathes palace air and who stays outside. You hold keys that are heavier than they look. Metal worn smooth by men who vanished. The gate is a mouth that never closes. Courtiers arrive perfumed and smiling. Soldiers arrive stiff and hungry. A maid hurries by with eyes red from crying. You learn to read the small tremors. Who is hiding a letter? Who is hiding a bruise? Who is hiding a knife? You are told you are nothing, yet you control seconds. Seconds become favors. A noble waits in the cold while you pretend to check a seal. A messenger sweats while you pretend to read a name. Power begins as petty cruelty because that is all you are allowed to touch. Still, you are watched. Above you, a senior eunuch stands like a statue. His face is calm. His calm is a weapon. One mistake, and you will be sent back to the buckets. Or you will simply be gone. The gate creaks. You do not. Level 4. The Scribe of Whispers. You move indoors. The air changes. Less smoke, more ink, more paper, more secrets. They teach you to write neatly and to forget what you wrote the moment the brush lifts. You copy edicts you do not understand. You record gifts that smell like expensive rot, rare meats, medicinal powders, silk that slides like water. You see how the court feeds itself, not with food, with transactions. A smile, a stamp, a signature that can ruin a family. You begin to notice what others miss. A courtier who bows too low, a minister who laughs too loudly, a concubine who suddenly wears mourning colors. You are surrounded by delicate objects, yet the room feels like a slaughterhouse, not because of blood, because of waiting. Everyone waits for someone else to slip. At night, your fingers are black with ink. You try to scrub them clean. The stain stays. It makes you feel branded. You realize the palace has found a new way to cut you. Level 5. The Chamber Attendant. You enter the private spaces. Curtains, screens, scented lamps, floors so polished you can see your own hollow face. You stand near people who believe they are the center of the world. They do not notice you. That is your job. You dress an imperial robe that weighs like judgment. You hold the mirror while someone paints perfection over exhaustion. You hear arguments through silk. You hear sobbing that stops the instant you step closer. You learn the shapes of forbidden grief. In these rooms, cruelty is quieter. A concubine speaks sweetly while her nails dig into your wrist. A prince smiles while asking you to repeat a rumor he already knows is true. You answer carefully. You answer like a man walking on thin ice. You become useful. Useful is dangerous. A person can forgive incompetence. A person cannot forgive a witness. Sometimes you catch your reflection in a bronze basin. The palace light makes your eyes look older. You tell yourself you are safer now. Then you hear footsteps outside the door that stop for a moment. You feel the weight of someone deciding whether you live. Level 6. The Keeper of the Inner Keys. They trust you with routes, with schedules, with the hidden doors that turn a palace into a maze. You can move through back corridors that smell of dust and cold stone. You can reach a bedchamber without passing the main halls. You can bring someone in. You can bring someone out. Quietly. You start receiving gifts you did not ask for. A pouch of silver, a jar of ointment, a promise. You understand what they are buying. Not your labor, your discretion. You also learn that discretion is never enough. People want loyalty. They want you to hate who they hate. They want you to choose sides. The court divides like meat under a knife. Ministers against ministers. Princes against brothers. Consorts against consorts. Everyone needs a door to open at the right time. So you become a hinge. The palace swings on you. That should feel like strength. Instead, it feels like nausea. You dream of keys falling into a drain. You wake with your hand clenched like it is holding a throat. Level 7. The Supervisor of Servants. You have underlings now, boys with fresh scars and quick fear. They stand straighter when you approach. They try to impress you. That is how the poison spreads. You remember your own hunger for approval. You use it. You assign the worst tasks as punishment. You offer lighter duties as reward. You build a small kingdom out of chores and threats. You learn that people will betray one another for a warm bowl of rice. You also learn that they will lie to protect themselves from your temper. So you must become harder. Hard enough that lies break before you do. Your days fill with complaints and bribes. A maid begs to be moved away from a cruel mistress. A kitchen boy swears he did not steal. You decide who gets mercy and who gets the stick. Each decision leaves a mark on you, like soot that seeps into the lungs. At night, you sit alone with ledgers. Names become numbers. Faces blur. When you finally sleep, you hear a whispering chorus of footsteps behind you, always close, always following. Level 8. The Shadow of the Throne. You are summoned more often. A message arrives. You go. You stand near the ruler, as if you are part of the furniture. Yet you feel the heat of authority like a brazier too close to the skin. You begin to carry words, not buckets. A single phrase delivered at the wrong moment can end a career. A single pause can suggest doubt. You become careful with breathing. You become careful with blinking. You learn that the ruler fears betrayal more than death. The ruler watches everyone. The ruler watches you. People start approaching you with smiles that do not reach their eyes. They call you respected. They call you honored. You know what they mean. They mean useful. They mean dangerous. You see punishments, quiet ones, a dismissal, an exile, a household suddenly sealed. You see how quickly a name can be erased. The palace does not need to shout. It only needs to turn its face away. You tell yourself you serve the state. But in the dark, you understand the truth. You serve the mood of one person, and moods change like weather. Level 9. The Grand Eunuch of the Inner Court. Now your seal matters. Your signature makes officials tremble. You control access. You control petitions. You control which voices reach the throne and which die in a drawer. Your residence is larger. Your robes are cleaner. Your hands still feel dirty. Not from waste, from decisions. You decide who gets a hearing. You decide whose son is promoted. You decide whose daughter is taken into service. Your power grows fat. It demands to be fed. The ministers hate you. They must smile anyway. The princes fear you. They must flatter anyway. Even the guards watch you with the careful stillness of men measuring distance. You build a network. Informants in kitchens. Informants in stables. Informants in temples outside the walls. Every secret is a coin. You stack coins until the pile becomes a wall. Then you realize walls work both ways. They protect you. They also trap you. You sleep lightly. You trust no cup of tea. You trust no door latch. When you hear laughter in a distant hall, you wonder if it is about you. It always could be. Level 10. The man who owns the palace. At the highest rank, the palace feels smaller than ever. You know every corridor, every weakness, every person who can be purchased. The throne sits above you like a sun, but you are the cloud that decides where light falls. You draft policies in private and let others take credit in public. You decide which armies are funded. You decide which provinces starve quietly. You tell yourself you are preventing chaos. You tell yourself you are necessary. That is the final lie the palace teaches. The ruler grows older. The heirs circle like dogs. Each faction begs for your blessing and plans your death. You receive gifts that are really threats. You receive invitations that are really traps. You laugh at jokes that are really warnings. You feel paranoia settle into your bones. You hear footsteps in empty rooms. You imagine knives in sleeves. You start purging your own staff. You start seeing betrayal in the way someone pours water. And then the palace turns, as it always does. A new reign, a new favorite, a new list of crimes. Your seal is taken. Your doors are open to strangers. You are called corrupt, monstrous, unnatural. The same mouths that praised you now spit. In the end, you are escorted through the gates you once controlled. The air outside smells like ordinary smoke and ordinary earth. It should feel like freedom. It feels like exile from the only cage you ever learned to survive.